Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Giselle and I haven't done a video like this in such a long time where I sit down and just do my makeup with you guys. I actually started my channel a long time ago with a sit down makeup video. My channel consisted of just sit down makeup tutorials for a few years, and then I started making vlogs. So I was like, what better way to do a Q&A than just doing my makeup with you guys? So I asked y'all on both my makeup and my personal, in case y'all just want to see more of my face or whatever. I also have TikTok. I'm a lot more consistent on TikTok just because I love TikTok. I think it's so entertaining and I love editing and posting things quickly on there. I already have my skincare. It's actually like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I was like doing chores and I was like, oh, I should just do it now because tomorrow I don't think I have time to do this Q&A. But how have you guys been? I hope you guys are doing well. It's officially September now. Qué bonito es este tiempo del año. I think it's exciting once it starts hitting fall time. I mean, officially it's not fall till like late September, but the leaves are turning colors here in Alabama. So I'm excited. And also my birthday is in November, so yay. So in my personal account, I'll go with those questions first. They're a little more personal, and then of course the makeup account has more like makeup artist questions. I put 2 packets of the orange element packets in here, and it's perfect because this is 40 ounces and I really like it to be salty. It's so good. I think this is like my favorite electrolyte ever. I just love the taste of the salt, and I don't know, I feel like it's pretty yummy. Okay, I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing, you guys. Like, what should I even do my makeup with today? I'll pull out this palette. I actually have never shown it on here on YouTube, or maybe I have, but never like a tutorial. So this one is the Danessa Myricks palette, and it's super unique because it has like putty in this pan and this is powder. You can use it for contour, brow, pomade, even face, cheek products, and of course eyeshadow. So the first question is English or Spanish? Ambos. I love both. I love speaking both. I can't say that I struggled learning English because my siblings went to school by the time I was like trying to speak. So I learned English pretty quickly, and of course everything on TV that I watched was in English. My novelas, of course, is where I learned a lot of the Spanish, very proper Spanish. Por ejemplo, también I remember watching Dora a lot, so I loved speaking Spanglish. As a young Hispanic girl, I think I just resonated a lot with Dora, so I really liked watching her. I will most definitely try to speak more Spanish once my kids come in my life, just because it's gonna be lost. I don't want my kids to be no sabo. It's really hard for kids to learn Spanish in America just because we go to school in English and everything. So que aprendan el inglés en la escuela y yo les voy a enseñar mi broken Spanish. I actually got 2 questions very similar, like where do you see yourself in a couple years and 3 years? So 3 years from now, I'll be 27, almost 28. I hopefully will be a little bit more established in my career, like in my makeup artistry career. Not everything is what it seems. I try to keep myself busy. I'm going in with this Alley Oop concealer. It's really nice. It's like very lightweight, almost like a serum, and I love it. So yeah, I just feel that hopefully by then I will have a lot more bookings during the week. So if you guys don't know, right now I do live with my parents still, and I work part-time at the restaurant and part-time doing makeup and another part-time doing like social media. I juggle 3 balls at one time, but I really like it. I enjoy doing content creating. Sometimes I feel horrible because I'm like, oh, I didn't post today on Instagram, or I didn't post on TikTok, but it's just some days I'm so busy, you guys. So if you follow me and you're like, why hasn't Giselle posted? I'm so sorry. Like, I really try to juggle all these 3 elements, and it's hard. It's really hard. And I eventually would love to be a full-time content creator in 3 years, but we'll see. And hopefully by the time I'm in my late 20s, I'm already moved in and married. I don't know. I don't really, some days I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy this stage of my life because it's not forever. I'm gonna live with my parents for just a short amount of time, y luego I'm gonna be with my husband for the rest of my life, God willing. So that's why I'm like, I need to enjoy sharing a room with my sister, living in a really chaotic household, and being near my nephews and nieces, and you know, all those small things that I take for granted. And I know I shouldn't, but you know, I'm just being honest with you guys. I really, really sometimes already want to be married, but only God knows, like, timing, and only He knows my plans in life. This is going to be like a more enhanced version of my everyday makeup, because some days I do have time for makeup and some days I'm like, I really have time to brush up my eyebrows. So I just want to play with makeup, you guys. I'm switching around with different palettes, by the way. This one's the Dominique Cosmetics, the Essentials palette. Tu shampoo favorito para lavar el cabello en seco, que lo vendan en México. Híjole, I have no idea. La verdad es que cuando voy a México me los traigo de acá. Pero me acuerdo de Batiste. La verdad te voy a dejar sin respuesta porque yo no sé las marcas de allá. Creo que he visto Batiste en Walmart. So, ese está bueno. El que yo uso ahorita se llama... Híjole, ya se me olvidó. Dry Bar Shampoo. Ese de Dry Bar fue mi favorito y ahorita que lo estoy usando no me gusta. So, no sé, a lo mejor voy a cambiar de dry shampoo yo también. Yeah, I'm so sorry que no te respondí con una buena respuesta. Do you ever feel unmotivated to post content? If so, how do you overcome it? You're doing great. Thank you. Appreciate you. So I do all the time. Like I was saying, when I have days where I cannot even remember my name, I'm like, okay, I need to remember to like post, because hay días donde, guys, I feel that I'm talking to myself y I'm like, is this all worth it? Like, I feel that I'm not going anywhere with this, and I get very unmotivated. But then I have a really close friendship with several content creators, and like I get motivated seeing them post, and I'm like, wow, like they're doing so well, why can't I? So that's why I keep going, and I really do enjoy it, you guys. Like, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then that hobby is never gonna excel. So that just is something that I tell myself. Also, like my makeup business, it's flourishing because I keep putting the effort, and that's how I see this as well, like content creating. I'm like, okay, si le pongo más time and esfuerzo, un día va a ser algo grande for me. Cuando hay días que no siento que nadie me está viendo, for example, I go to a party and people are like, oh, I love watching your videos, and I really love it when you guys come up to me in person and tell me that, because it just validates all of that hard work that I put into a video that you may think it's not that hard, but it takes time for me to like sit down and like, for instance, I curled my hair for this video, and like you guys don't care, but I care because I want to look decent online. And the fact that I'm putting myself out there and just being really vulnerable, it's kind of scary. The internet is a scary place nowadays, so you just never know who's gonna watch you, who's gonna judge you. But I just do it because I enjoy it, and I don't know, I just know that I have really, really faithful followers, so I appreciate it when you guys come up to me and say hi. Se siente muy bonito. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of the shimmer from Patrick Ta towards the outer part. It's like this shade right here, and just dabbing it here. I'm doing my makeup as if I were like my client, because I always start with the eyes. Typically, I always do my face makeup just because I know I don't really care. It's like rapidito. Pero ahorita tengo mi tiempo. This feels so nostalgic, you guys, just like sitting down and playing with my makeup. It reminds me of when I would come home from school and just play. Tips on getting started as an MUA, how to get clients. So if I were to go back and tell my past self, like, okay, Gigi, ponte lista, because this is gonna be like for you, because you need all this advice, honey. So I would be telling myself, first, make a logo, because you need a logo to seem professional. And if you're gonna have business cards, también you need that logo. That's the first thing. Second, make your Instagram, make sure it's only about makeup. I personally think it's just more professional if you keep it like that. Don't post about your dog on there. If it is, maybe on your story. That's just coming from me. If you don't like my advice, then go away. How to get clients. So just put yourself out there. I hate when people say this, but it's so true. You just need to put pictures of yourself. If you don't have anyone, like if you don't have a sister or a cousin, just start doing makeup on yourself and post it. Post it and post it. And then people are gonna be like, oh, little Susie does such a good job at doing her makeup. I wonder if she can do my makeup. And that's just how word of mouth happens, because then people are gonna be like, oh, I have a friend who does really good makeup. Maybe she could do your makeup for prom or something. So that's just how I started, actually. I would do makeup on myself, and then slowly I would ask my sister. I like did it on my mom. I would post her, and then I loved making YouTube videos. So my tutorials, even though they were not that good, people people would like tell me like, oh my gosh, I loved how you did that one smoky eye look, could you do that for me? I would literally do their makeup in gym. Like, I remember bringing my makeup and then they would bring their makeup bag and we would just like kind of talk about how I did my makeup, and then I would give them advice. I would just say, make yourself known that you like makeup, and then from there you're gonna thrive. And if you already kind of like have your Instagram and you're not really seeing any growth or progress, just keep posting. Like, don't give up and just be consistent, and make sure your work is getting better and better throughout the years. Like, if you're not taking a class or if you're not learning, you gotta improve on that. You gotta like get with the times. If you know you have to work on something, do that small change, and then your career is gonna thrive from there. Because imagine all these companies that have been successful for many years. Well, they have to adapt with the times. They have to take classes or hire people that know a little bit more, you know, to be more modern. This girl said, how did MUA reach out to refer clients to me? She's asking for 30%. Is that a fair amount? So if I'm not wrong, I think you're saying that she is asking for 30% of whatever you're making from these clients she's referring to you. That's insane. I would not give her 30% of what I'm making, because I would say thank you so much for referring, but I don't like, what? That doesn't make sense. I always refer other clients to other MUAs. Like, I'm never gonna be like, because of me you have that client. No, like, that's another thing that I quickly want to rant about. I've seen it so many times. It's a reoccurring situation where there's, unfortunately, in any business, in anything you're doing, in any trade, there's always going to be someone who's so jealous, and it's so ugly, because in my opinion, the sun shines for everyone, and you should never be hiding or gatekeeping, as they say now, how you did something. I feel that we should all apoyarnos. Like, what is the point of hiding something? Like, I totally get it when someone may say, like, if I figured it out on my own, they can do it for sure on their own. Well, that sassy attitude is not going to get you anywhere in life. Like, that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is that attitude in people, because I feel that God and Jesus did not want that for us. I feel like Jesus always was a very simple and just open type of person, and I feel that if you asked him something, he would like tell you, like, if you're not religious or whatever, but just always try to be a better version of yourself. And I feel like this world would be better if everyone was with that same mentality of like, I want to be like more like Jesus, or I want to be a better person. It doesn't even have to be like Jesus if you don't believe in Jesus, but that's just something that I live by, is I want to be a better version of myself, and I am a reflection of God, you know. So like, what would Jesus do? For sure, like, that is what I live by. So no gatekeeping over here, you guys. But that is really sad that she's asking for 30% from those clients, because like, I don't know, that's just really odd. I don't know, girl. I would just tell that girl, like, I'm sorry, like, that's not gonna work for me. I really appreciate you referring them to me, but if that's gonna be the case, then I don't think you should refer them to me anymore. There'll be other clients coming your way, honey. That is crazy. I've never heard anything like that before. MUA must-haves. So if you're starting out, anything from the drugstore is good. You just have to find those gems. So make sure you have a good moisturizer. I really liked the Neutrogena Gel Booster one. That was very affordable, and I really liked the consistency. And then the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation, that was like my go-to, the glowy and the matte one. The Maybelline Concealer, I don't even think they make that anymore. It was like in a squeezy tube. But nowadays, if I could like tell you something from my kit that I think you should have, is the Embryolisse cream. I really like that crema. And then the e.l.f. brow lift. I really like my clients' brows to look fluffy. And what else? Foundation. I remember like NARS was always the first foundation that I had my eyes on when I started like making enough money to buy foundation for my kit like that from Sephora. So NARS Longwear, it's the go-to. It's perfect for everyone. You can manipulate the finish. So if someone's more dry, you hydrate their face a bit more. And then if they're a little bit oily, then you prep their skin with the proper skincare for their oily face. Put a little bit of a mattifying primer in those areas, and then set the heck out of their face with powder. After I set their face with both the Charlotte Tilbury and the One Size spray, I go in with a little bit more powder afterwards. I always make sure to like set their face really well. And before I leave, I look at their faces and say, okay, anyone needs a touch up? And I look at the girls brows with like a little bit of shine, les retoco, just so everything looks perfect. And of course, a waterproof mascara. Anything from the drugstore, don't buy a high-end waterproof mascara. Like, it's literally just a waste of money, I think, personally, since you're not using like the actual wand, you're just using the formula. Which, by the way, I like this mascara. It's the Essence Lash Princess, the pink one, but this one, it just smudges everywhere, and it's really unfortunate because I really like how it looks on my lashes. But I use the waterproof version of this one in my kit, by the way. How to know if you're charging your worth? Girl, so when I first started doing makeup, I started charging 40 bucks. Okay, I was in high school and I knew that the girls in my grade were not gonna spend more than 40 on me, so that's why I started that low. I think towards like my senior year and my cosmetology year of life, in those years I was charging, I think, from anywhere from $70 to $80, and then I slowly started getting up to 90 and then to 100, and then my prices are on my website. Like, I'm super transparent about that. I charge 115 for a bridesmaid, and then if you're a bride, it's like 330, but that includes the trial and the day of. I've worked my way up there. I'm not saying that you haven't, but definitely know what you're, you know, offering to your clients. Like, you got to think about, if you were sitting in that chair, what would you want your makeup artist to be like? So from there you can kind of like visualize what's the experience you're offering to your clients. So like, for instance, in my case, I offer very high-end makeup in my kit now, but it wasn't always like that, so that's why my prices have gone up. And then I'm very, very particular with the way that I sanitize everything, so that's also like why I charge what I charge, because I'm like, I'm not gonna double dip in anything, or I'm not gonna use the same brushes on everyone. Everyone has their own brush and sponge and puff, and I give them a touch-up kit, and like, not every makeup artist does that, so that's like extra costs, you know? So all that I take into account, and how much to charge to travel. So that's another thing. I remember when I first started, I didn't charge anything, and then I slowly went to 50 cents per mile, and then after that, it's been 2 years now that I've been charging $1 per mile. And there's some girls that do it after a certain amount of time. Like, if it's like 30 minutes within your town, they don't charge anything, but I do. If I'm leaving my house, like, I start charging you. It's up to you, girl, okay? There's no right or wrong way. Please recommend must-have foundation and concealers. Okay, in my kit, I try to keep everything very neutral in terms of like formulas, so that I can manipulate it for either if I have a really dry or really oily client. So I have the NARS Longwear foundation, I have the Makeup Forever foundation, and I have House Labs right now, and I currently have a few foundations of the Armani Luminous. That one is beautiful. It's just so expensive, so I'm just trying to find different options. This one so far has been one of like my favorites, and I really like the finish of it. It's super pretty. This one is a lot more mattifying, so I like mixing these two a lot. And the shades for those foundations, I always try to buy 3 to 4 shades, typically just 3 when I first try out a brand, just so I make sure like I'm not wasting my money if I don't like them. Concealers that I like is the Too Faced. Oh my gosh, Too Faced Sculpting Concealer is so pretty, and I love the packaging. It's so big, and I feel that I get a lot of product, so it's perfect. This is the Beauty Blender Skin Tint. I love this stuff. It's just like on the last drop of it. This is like one of my favorites. And then top 3 concealers for dry skin. So again, I think in my kit, I use Too Faced a lot. It doesn't look crepey or gross underneath. So if I would recommend you to get something in your kit, you should try that one. But if it's like for you, I really would recommend these 3 for dry skin. Alley Oop concealer is so pretty. It's literally second skin, perfect for day-to-day. This one by Makeup Forever, oh my gosh, it's so hydrating. It's so good. I would recommend this one as well. And then the Tower 28 is like my favorite everyday concealer. It's very pretty, very hydrating. A good drugstore alternative is the NYX Bare Skin Bare With Me concealer. Yeah, that one. It has like a little pump, and it's so good. I think that's like my favorite drugstore concealer. I use it as foundation sometimes when I used to have it. And primer recommendations. So I actually don't have a lot of primers in my kit. I just have skincare, and whenever I need a primer, it's either that MAC one with the mattifying properties, or that Hourglass primer. It's so rare that I use them though, you guys. Like, it's very, very rare. I only use it if I see that they have a lot of texture or they're super oily. I'm gonna use my Makeup by Mario concealer a little bit here. How do you stay motivated during the slow times in your career as a makeup artist? So you guys, I don't have clients every single day, and I try to keep myself motivated by being like, okay, like, I'm gonna get clients. I always get those random clients that will be like, maybe like 2 weeks before their event, and I'm like, oh, thank God I have something. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh yeah, I'm busy every single day. Like, no, that's not my case yet. And I really hope and pray for that moment. You guys don't have an idea. Like, I really pray for those moments in my life where I can be like fully into my career and not have to depend on another job. If I didn't have my restaurant job, I don't think I could supply my kit with what I have in it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because everything I get is so expensive and I buy multiples of it. So there's always gonna be those moments in our career where there's not a lot of work out there, but maybe you could take that time when it's slower in the year to like make your website. For instance, I finally made my website this year. That was like one of the goals for 2024, was make my website, because guys, like, you need a website. If you haven't made one, you should. It just makes your business look a lot more professional. I have a whole video dedicated to that. If you're like, how do I even make that? Like, where and how? Don't you worry, sister. I got it. I have a whole video. I like try to make it as easy to follow. Hopefully that can help you. I'm using Hoola Benefit. I forgot how pretty this color was. Like, this is like such a perfect bronzer. My camera is literally overheating. Like, it's not meant for long form content. Do you get a lot of Bridezillas? Actually, no, I haven't had any. Like, I haven't came across any yet, thankfully. Knock on wood, I hope I never do. But typically I always have issues with the mother of the brides, and one that comes to mind is like one of the most traumatizing work experiences that's happened to me, where I had to travel to Georgia the night before with, thankfully, my hairstylist friend. At the time, she and I would travel together, and she told us, like, the bride told us, okay, like, you guys can sleep with me, my little cabin, it's only for like us, like, there's no one else gonna be there, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I was like, okay, bet. Like, we get there after a long drive, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, so we're like ready to go to sleep because we have to wake up the next morning, I think like 5 a.m. to start. Tell me why her dad and her mom are there, and they're divorced, and they're sleeping in the same cabin as us, and we try to like figure it out. My camera keeps dying, so just bear with me, but I just put a little bit of highlighter, put it in the inner corner of my eye just to brighten things up, and then I went in with my Hourglass palette and just kind of buffed everything out with these two finishing powders. That's like one of my biggest tips. If you see something like patchy and you need it to like blend, go with like a face powder. If they're really oily, go in with like just a basic face powder, but if they're a little bit more on the drier, normal side, you can go in with these very pretty powders from Hourglass, and they're honestly so lightweight that they're not going to make the skin look too dry or too cakey. That's like my favorite technique right now. I bought the Hourglass Trio palettes, where it's like 3 powders in a little palette, and I kind of sometimes swirl them around and just like tap it around their skin, especially for my older mature ladies. I'm going to put a little bit of this highlight from the Youre. I love this pink one. It's so pretty. But yeah, you guys, that was pretty much all of the questions I got. If you guys want to be part of the next one, just let me know if I should do it again, actually. Let me know if you enjoy this type of video. I've never really done one on my channel. If you want to be part of it, whenever I post on my stories, you can put a little question in there for me. Put a little bit of this one, because ahorita va a llegar mi novio, and it was like very last minute, and he's barely now just about to get here. It's like almost 7, and I'm so excited to see him. I'm gonna go say hello. I'm like, hello, I did not expect you, because my mom doesn't even know he's coming. It's a surprise. All right, guys, well, I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.